know if anyone's watching right now, but update. I lost signal kind of completely at Pacific City. I'm having problems with my route or with my jetpack thing, which gives me service. And I left my lens in a pub when I had a beer. So we have no lens anymore. Next city I get to, I'm gonna try and buy a new one, but no lens. So if I'm holding it on a selfie stick, it's gonna be like my face, in your face, unfortunately. So yeah. But yeah, I'm continuing south. I've got the internet service provider I'm working with is sending me a new unit because apparently my unit's faulty for a couple reasons. But we'll see how that works. Unfortunately, I left my lens, my wide-angle lens, which is very frustrating. I like that lens. Now I have to replace it, and I don't have an address to send anything to, so I'm going to have to stop at, I don't know what kind of store would sell a cell phone selfie little lens thing. Also, now it's starting to rain, so it hadn't rained for a while, but now it's starting to rain. I'm sad about my lens. I'm very sad. And sorry I was gone for so long. I was having a ton of problems with my little jetpack internet thing. It said I had 2 bars of LTE, which is fast internet, and I was getting like 0.3 megabits per second down, and it wasn't even registering an upload. And I need like at least like 0.7 to 1 megabits per second upload to have like a really low resolution steady stream. So it wasn't working. But now it's kind of working. I'm getting a new unit sent to a US post office as a general delivery under my name. So hopefully that works. 'Cause yeah, it's been so unreliable. But they're replacing it free of charge because I told them the problems I had, and he said it was a faulty unit. So hopefully I get a new one that works better. Because yeah, our biggest issue has been internet connection problems, and a lot of that is just based on location, but I feel like some of it that has been just like, it's not working. So hopefully we'll deal with the internet connection problem. But now I've got I've created another problem. That is, I have no wide-angle lens, which means when I'm holding it on the stick and it's facing me, I'm gonna be close. Where before you kind of had a better perspective of everything on screen. So I hope I can find another one pretty soon, but it will probably be a couple days, unfortunately. I'm not happy about it. But I did have a nice time in Pacific City. Fuel that picked me up. We walked along the beach a bunch, climbed up some bluffs, some sand dunes. You're not supposed to do that. Stop. Seems okay right now, though. We'll see. I just feel so bad because we'll get like a decent viewer base in, and then everything will just go to crap. Like, it just dies on me. And then you restart later in the day and hope that the connection works better. that is.
He's got the camera right there. You want something to drink? We got some water and stuff.
I got a bit of water in the bag here, but I appreciate that. Going in there?
Yeah, just puts.
It's like the bag isn't that clean. I just don't want to get your stuff there. Essentially it. You guys drive past and change?
What's that?
You guys drive past and change?
Yeah, you think about it.
I appreciate it. We get to go. Oh, it won't shut with that there. Okay.
Jackie
All right.
says, he's just a kid. I don't know about that.
Oh, it's only 23.
23.
Yeah.
I have some who's 23.
Okay. But yeah, the whole purpose of this thing with the camera and stuff is I've been hitchhiking for 4 years.
4 years?
Like on and off, on trips. And I've done it in 25 countries and I've had a great experience with it and I want to show people what hitchhiking was like. So that's what this is.
Wow. 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years, 25 countries, about 700 rides.
700 rides. And one.
701.
See, Jackie?
Wow.
What'd you say?
Amazing.
Should we turn back?
Put your seatbelt on.
Roll on again.
Please. Yeah.
Cars get mad at you.
Yeah, he does. He does get mad. Okay. Wow. So what's your name?
Trevor.
Trevor.
And you guys?
Trevor, I'm Jess. This is Jackie.
Jess and Jackie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's
So
nice
you're
to meet
from
both of you.
Canada?
Yeah, from Vancouver Island, so
Oh, okay.
West Coast.
Okay.
And yeah, in the internet or in America, you can kind of get an unlimited data plan. So this is actually live at the moment. I've just had a whole crash, so there's no one really watching at the moment. People kind of pile in as it goes.
Oh, is that right?
So, but it's a live stream, so I wanted people to be able to see hitchhiking live as it happens. From
really?
Have you run across any dangerous situations?
in all my hitchhiking.
Yeah. 4 years.
Well, it's got to be kind of dangerous 'cause every time you don't know who you get in with.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
People you meet.
Like you are dealing with strangers all day. But the most dangerous situations I've run into have been driving based. Just driving's a dangerous thing, and some people aren't the best drivers. You're doing. You're a good driver, by the way. When you drive with a lot of people, you can tell very quickly if someone is not a proficient driver. And I've been in several near misses, I guess you'd call them, mostly driving related. I've met some weird people. I've turned down rides because one of my rules about hitchhiking is I talk to people before I get into their car.
Right.
That's kind of my risk management. Like with hitchhiking, you're taking more of a risk than taking a bus, plane, or train, but I don't think it's as bad as people make it out to be. But still, you should try and manage that risk.
Yeah, because, I mean, times are changing, and you just never know what type of situation you're going to be in.
Yeah.
Or what kind of people you're going to run across.
Yeah. So I try to manage the risk as best I can, but
It's good.
so I have some rules I follow, and I haven't run into any trouble. I've never been actually picked up by someone, like got into a car with someone that I felt actually physically threatened by in any kind of way. Anyone who gave me a weird kind of vibe, I tell that I'll wait for the next ride, essentially. Yeah.
Well, that's a smart way of looking at it and dealing with that situation, because it is a dangerous situation.
Yeah. But I feel on this trip, it's kind of a unique situation because part of my interaction with someone before I get into a car is saying that it's being video and audio recorded. Is that something you're comfortable with? And if anyone had any kind of malintent, they would not want a camera in their car.
Right.
Exactly.
So I think this is even keeping me even safer, because now I have to ask for permission to film them, essentially.
Right.
So.
Well, we've been having an
That's a
awesome.
smart idea.
Yeah, we've been having an awesome day.
Have you? What have you guys been up to?
Well, I'm from Yakima, and Jess is from Grandview.
Okay.
Lower Valley.
Yeah.
Still in Washington, but kind of like east. We could date.
How long have you guys been dating?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Awesome. And where are you guys going?
Well, we came to the beach. That's our destination.
The Pacific.
We came to, we're staying at Lincoln City.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a place in Lincoln City. drove to Tillamook this morning, and we just came from Cape Cowanda.
We went to a cheese factory, taste the cheese.
Oh, okay.
Got some ice cream.
Yeah, I went through the other day. I didn't go to the cheese factory or anything like that, but I.
That was great.
Yeah, and so we just came from Cape Cowanda. We did a little bit of hiking and a bit of walking, and we're on our way back. We're gonna get ready. Probably just
What was that other place we went?
Cape Cowanda and Lincoln. I mean, we went to Tillamook. Tillamook. That's where we went to the cheese
Oh well,
factory.
then the beach right there in Lincoln City, right?
Yeah, and Lincoln City. Yeah, this morning. Pioneer. Yeah. So where?
Los Montes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I started. Just doing this for fun and for the experience and to show people what hitchhiking is like.
That's great. I took a trip last year from Astoria all the way down to Crescent City to the Redwood Forest.
People have been telling me that I should be
Highway
going there.
101?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I'll probably be going through there.
Most amazing trip I've ever taken. So if you take all Highway 101, you can't go wrong as far as adventure. It's
She described some of that to me, and it's like, man, I want to go to the.
I take down my tent. That's I'm gonna be that stuff.
Because it was a storm.
Yeah.
But other than that, I spent about $280.
Yeah.
That was gas, lodging, food, everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you kind of wing it, you know.
That's the type of travel I like to do the best. So you just wing it. You kind of just roll with the punches and see how it goes out. You're gonna get into some problems, but then you're gonna get yourself out of those problems, and I find that really fun.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't have to eat like really expensive food.
Yeah, if you go out to a restaurant for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you're gonna spend a lot on food, but the cheapest way to eat is out of supermarkets. Really, buy stuff from grocery stores, and you're gonna be eating room temperature, non-perishable foods, kind of, but it gets the job done.
Tuna.
Yeah, stuff that'll keep you satiated, keep you feeling full. So protein is good for that. Yeah.
Wow.
So you have family in Canada?
Yeah, all my family's in Canada. We're all in British Columbia, pretty much. But yeah, I got a big split family, 6 siblings all in total, 2 stepsisters, 2 stepbrothers, and a sister. All that kind of jazz. My mom, sorry?
No, I'm just saying.
My mom hated the hitchhiking thing at the start, but she's learned to at least appreciate it, I believe, because I've only had really good things to say about it. So,
That's good.
yeah. Do you guys have any kids or siblings?
I have 3 kids.
You have 3 kids?
3 sons. Yeah,
Yeah.
19, 23.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh, growing
We're both
up.
divorced.
Yeah, divorced.
So so that's why
you're dating, yeah.
we met 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And
Been nice.
it's the first date, actual date.
First actual date.
Out.
Yeah.
And so.
So you met
getting to know
online
each
then?
other. No. We met through a friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
And,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It's been good.
It's been good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you picked up a hitchhiker on your date. This is your day together.
It's been great.
It's an adventure for us
There you
too.
go.
Yeah.
It's something we'll never forget. That's
that is a
for
first
sure.
date adventure, yeah.
Trevor, you'll be in our book. You'll be in our favorite book.
Actually, I should.
Yeah, definitely. We'll remember you. That's pretty awesome. I mean, you're really.
I was asking Jackie, so other people know about this, the beach and stuff?
Oh, because all he does is work.
Yeah.
I mean, all he does is work, and I kind of had to pull him away from work and have him take an afternoon and a Saturday off.
Kind of
and-
built up almost about, what, a week? 2 weeks? Almost 2 weeks?
Yeah.
We started talking about it, and then last week was like, we're thinking about it, I'm getting myself geared up to come to the beach, and it's been like very emotional. I
You're
didn't think.
talking something
Yeah.
to it. When was the last time you were at the beach?
Well, I told you I went to California, but that was different, totally different than that. It was a different experience. But I didn't think there was going to be so much emotions involved in just going to the beach. It's not
For those people after the fact, because a lot of the time my rides are in 5 to 30 minutes, and even because I'm talking to you guys and you're talking to me, they never really get a say, or they may have questions.
We actually went by you.
And then we looked at each other, and I said, he looks as old as my son.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Why not? Yeah,
you guys seem awesome.
Great. That's great. I think that, I don't know, life's full of adventures. You have to take them. You know, if you don't, you'll miss out on some things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's off to you, Trevor. That's pretty cool.
That's kind of what we've been saying this whole time. The trip, and even before, just like the same thing. Got to go with the flow.
So what do you carry? I mean, just your backpack. Your backpack, of course. You carry your essentials.
Yeah. So when any trip I go on, I make sure I'm like say I get dropped off right here. I want to make sure I have enough, like as far as camp gear and equipment, that I'll be safe for at least 2 to 3 days without actually having to worry at all, as far as water, food, warm.
That's why I asked you. What's something to drink?
Yeah,
you're out the middle of no place.
Yeah. I was actually in Pacific City, just off that exit before you guys picked me up. My last rides took me there, and we walked along the beach, went up some bluffs. We went out for lunch and had a beer, and then they drove me back out to the highway here. So like, especially on these small highways like this, I get like a lot of quicker, shorter rides. So I'm in and out of cars meeting people all day. And as far as hitchhiking goes, these are the most fun days, in my opinion, because it's busy, but you're in and out of cars, you're meeting people, you're doing different things. Like there, we went out for lunch, we went climbed a sand dune and ran there. You were just, and there's sand dunes there.
We were just
at Cape Kiwanda.
The wind got pretty rough.
Oh yeah.
It was windy.
Like
definitely.
Yeah, and up on those bluffs, the wind just rips that sand into your eyes.
Yeah.
We were just there.
Maybe that was you walking on the beach with the beer. I don't know.
No, we had the beer in the restaurant, the pub right on the beach there.
Well, that Pelican.
The Pelican, yeah.
Pelican Inn.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
So you'll just keep going down 101, right?
Yeah, just keep going down.
Yeah. To these sides. This is beautiful out here too. I mean, the only bad part is it's been raining. So.
Yeah, I know. That's why you see me in full rain gear, and it's not predictable. It's like it'll rain for like 10 minutes, then it'll be clear for 30 minutes, back to torrential rain for 45 minutes. Yeah. So like I've been in rain gear all day, even though it's only been raining half the time. But you never know.
You have to.
Yeah.
Like, you just never know.
Another kind of thing I have to deal with now is I have electronics and batteries and stuff like that, and it's been raining the whole time I've been in the States here. So I'm trying to manage that, but usually I just have to keep myself kind of dry, and even when I get wet I'll be okay, but now I have things that will just die if I get them wet. Yeah. Happy to be here.
That always stayed in the back of my mind, and so I would see people hitchhiking, and even though they didn't look, dangerous, in my mind, I had that, that idea that that person could be a killer, that person could be a rapist, that person could be, just anything, you think about those things.
That is the stereotype of hitchhikers is, whether portrayed in media or film or anything like that. That's what hitchhikers are portrayed as. Just like if you watch Hollywood films, Russians are portrayed as like the villains in almost every film. Right?
True.
Where if you meet some Russians, they're just normal people. Like I hitchhiked across Russia. Russians are just normal people.
Right.
Yes, their politics and stuff like that are not the best as far as it's just kind of crazy what goes on with that. But if you travel a lot, you kind of see that people are people no matter where you are, whether they're American, Russian, Chinese, Australian, Canadian, there's definitely cultural differences.
Yeah, of course.
And I think those are all cool and unique, but like at our core, we're all kind of people, and it's not that big of a difference.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true, Trevor.
I believe that too.
But I think there's a few groups that get really stigmatized, sort of in ethnicities and people from certain countries, and
Yeah.
but if you actually meet a lot of them and talk to them, it's really not what
I think
media and stuff makes it
you
out.
have to, when you're out like this in different places away from your home, you have to be willing to open your mind to anything that any person that you meet up to, because
Yeah.
if you're in a situation, you're gonna be open to whoever can help you, not oh no, I don't need your help because you're or I don't want to accept your help because you're this. No,
Yeah.
you have to be willing to accept that help regardless of who it is.
Yeah.
So you're right about that.
We changed the topic, but I think I saw a sign for Blockbuster, like Blockbuster Video. Do you know Blockbuster, like where you'd rent movies? I
Yeah.
haven't seen one of those in like 10 years. I thought they went bankrupt and disappeared.
Is there what?
I thought I saw a sign like on the sign back there, and it's like Blockbuster, and like the blue background with the yellow
Yeah.
font around.
Oh, yeah, you're
I'm
right,
like, I had a
you
bit
did.
of a
'Cause
nostalgia
everything
moment.
now is Redbox.
Like, yeah, Redbox,
Yeah, Redbox.
or people stream it online with Netflix
Yeah,
and stuff
with
like that.
or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Netflix or
Yeah.
those Fire Sticks.
Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Fire Sticks.
Yeah.
That's
Bit of
crazy.
a nostalgia moment.
So we are staying here. So if there's a specific place that you would like me to drop you off, then let me know.
Yeah, like
Or-
essentially, if I'm heading south out of town, I have to get to the southern end of town. 'Cause
Okay.
you can't hitchhike into town. I'm not gonna ask you to go out of your way. That's just where I'm headed next to, is the southern end of whatever.
Okay,
town
we can
we're
do
in.
that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we could do that. That's kind of like where we were at this morning
Yeah.
on the historic site.
Nice.
Okay. On the historic side of town. That sand really blasted my face. Feel it.
What? The
The
sand?
sand
Yeah.
when it was blowing up.
I
on
know.
top of
It was
the-
like getting
Yeah,
sand
the
blasted.
band
It's exfoliating.
Yeah, it's exfoliating.
It's probably good for your skin. Just gets rid of all that dry, dead skin, and
Yeah,
you've got a
you're right.
fresh face
I
now.
left half of my face there.
Yeah.
I was putting sand out of my ear.
Yeah, I didn't mind it on my face, but like if I went to the side, it'd like blow into your ear, and I'm like, no, that's probably not the best. 'Cause
Trevor, do you find that the people who pick you up do they tend to be older, younger, or middle aged?
I think the average person is probably what you'd call middle age,
Okay.
and usually a guy driving.
Well, I'm still considered middle age, right?
You, that's what I mean. No, I'm talking in general.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Yeah.
in general.
If we look
because
at all my rides,
are the younger? Do you tend to find that the younger group will see you? A younger group will see you and say, "Hey, that's looks like cool dude or whatever."
Yeah.
Pick you up, or is it more of like ourselves that we associated him like, wait a minute, he looks like
Yeah.
my son.
A kid, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get picked up by that many young people. I feel like they've had it driven into their brain their whole life that they shouldn't hitchhike, they shouldn't pick up hitchhikers. There's
Yeah.
nothing good that can come of either hitchhiking or picking up a hitchhiker.
True.
Don't take candy from strangers and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like the average person that picks me up, if we just look at it in a general sense, is like what you'd call a middle-aged guy that either hitchhiked when he was younger, or you saw a lot of people hitchhiking when he was younger, and kind of, if he used to hitchhike, now they're returning the favor, essentially.
She was telling me about that fish place.
Barnacle Bills.
Yeah, Barnacle Bills. But yeah, you're right. Like if somebody, I have a friend named Mike, and he did a lot of hitchhiking when he was younger.
Yeah.
And so he tends to, he tells me he tends to pick up a lot of hitchhikers, especially guys.
Yeah.
And he says he's picked up a lot of guys that are hitchhikers that are veterans.
Yeah.
That are just,
And
just going to their next destination, and they may not know where that may be, but they just know that they're heading a certain way.
Yeah, from what I've been told and read, it used to be a very common thing for military personnel on their leave to hitchhike. Like if they're in the Navy, they get dropped off at a port, and then it's on their own to get home or to get wherever they need to go.
Right.
And
So they'd
in
hitchhike.
uniform, you'd hitchhike back to where you wanted to go, and that was a very common way of getting around. And somewhere along the way, hitchhiking lost its charm. It's something, and no one does it anymore.
Well, because if you see a hitchhiker on the freeway, typically a state patrol is right behind them.
Yeah,
Or
it's illegal on the interstate.
illegal on the
there's
interstate.
rules, yeah.
There's rules
The only way
now.
you can kind of get away with it is if you're at the top of the on-ramp to get onto the interstate before it technically is considered an interstate.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I've
that's
seen
the
that.
way around it.
I've seen that.
But I generally prefer to stay on the smaller state highways. I like I told you guys, going from town to town on the shorter rides and all that.
Yeah.
It's a more fun day, and you don't have to deal with those huge, crazy highways.
Trying to jump. I was trying to get back to Wow. I can see where your mom is coming from. Because if any one of my sons tried to hitchhike,
You're gonna do what?
Yeah.
So yeah,
No, definitely not.
but she's warmed up.
Well, that's
She's
good.
warmed up.
I don't know if I'd be able to warm up to it.
Yeah.
Want to get somewhere? I'll take you.
Like she kind of has to. It's like I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, 4
so many
years,
trips.
4 years.
Like if you don't warm up to it, you're gonna just constantly worried out of your mind.
Yeah, true. And you do keep in contact with her,
Yeah,
right?
and on this thing now, she can check in on me any time of the day, unless I'm losing connection or I run out of batteries or whatever, which seems to happen quite a bit. Having issues with my network provider at the moment, but I pay a lot because I need unlimited. Like I use about a gigabyte of data per hour, so in about 4.5 days I've used like 30 gigabytes. Which your normal unlimited plans they throttle you, like they limit the speed after about 20 gigabytes or so. So, and that's for a month, and I've done that in 5 days.
5 days.
5 days I've done 30 gigs. Because it's video, live stream, and I 2 days ago I did from the moment I woke up in the morning, taking down my tent, until when I was setting or about to find a campsite. It was like
Where do you
12 hours.
Where do you camp at? Do you just off the side of the road
Yeah.
into the hill, or do
Yeah,
you actually stay at campsites?
I try to sleep for free. It's always been my mentality that it doesn't make sense to me to pay for an 8x8 plot of grass. There's a whole lot of nature that
Where you
can
could just
I'm just putting down
out to.
Yeah, all I'm doing is after nightfall, I set down my tent, I sleep because I'm exhausted from the day, and at first light I wake up and I take it down, and I follow the leave no trace kind of principle. It should not look any worse when I leave than when I got there. It should look the same or better. I don't have a fire, I don't do anything. All I do is set down my tent, sleep there, and leave the next morning. So if we're looking at the law just in a black and white kind of sense, I'm probably breaking the law doing that. But ethically, I feel like I'm treating nature respectfully.
Right,
I'm not damaging
You're
anything.
really not breaking any
Yeah.
laws. And really, you're right. No one should have to pay for a little space to
Right.
sleep, you know? You should be able to do that pretty much.
But I do try to avoid, even if there's wooded areas, if it's like private land, I try to avoid sleeping on someone's property.
That could cause a totally different set
Yeah.
of problems.
But if it's just public, open forest, then I see no problem with being able to, just for a night, if you're camping, if you're squatting there for an extended period of time, pretty much setting up your home there, I can understand that being something they wouldn't want. But for me, just using public land as a home for one night, I think it's ethically pure. Yeah, for sleeping, that's all I'm doing is sleeping.
I did that when I went to
Yeah.
the Redwood Forest. Actually, at Newport, there is a rest area that has no signs that don't say anything about spending a night there.
Yeah.
next to the taco truck. So that I slept in here.
Yeah.
And so it worked out well. And I didn't have to pay.
Yeah.
And that was my goal, was to not have to pay for it. Like I said, there was just one night there was a really bad storm, and I did have to rent a room. But other than that, yeah, it's adventurous. It's fun.
Yeah, it is.
And it's something no one will take away from you. You know, it's like you'll have that memory forever.
Yeah.
It's like I did this. Check. So where do you plan on going? I mean, you're just going, right?
Yeah, like this trip has no fixed destination. I'm going to go until I no longer enjoy it or run out of money. That's essentially the two limiting factors: finances, or just I'm not going to do something I don't like. So,
Right.
so
You're gonna like 101. I can assure you that.
Yeah.
You haven't been down 101, have you?
when I was a kid, we drove down to Disneyland, but I was like in the back of a motorhome, like playing Pokemon on my Game Boy, so I don't remember.
You're gonna really enjoy 101. And
Yeah.
the thing is that this, until you get to the bottom, until you get to the end of Oregon, a lot of the cities are like one right after another. You know, there's, like you said, short distances
Yeah.
between, so
Which, yeah, I really like.
make it
so.
fun.
Yeah.
That's that.
Spanish.
Yeah. The one that has
Hey,
it.
Dylan.
And in the middle of a mountain, like a mountain highway
Did you go
road.
to the Olympic forest?
Yeah, ever since.
Okay.
So I've day 5.
In February, and I drove
February,
down
yeah.
101, down forest, all of that, all the way down. So I was telling that guy that, okay,
Cool.
look how pretty it is here. All right, Trevor.
Mind if I get a picture with you guys?
We wish you luck.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Have fun.
always do.
That's what I told her when we were talking to her. That.
That was awesome.
We wish you luck.
Yeah. Good luck to you,
Take
man.
care.
Have fun.
I probably will. See ya. Is anyone kicking around in chat right now? anyone's kicking around in chat and can hear me, so essentially what's going on is, like, right now I've got 4 bars of 4G LTE service. This is about as strong of a signal as you can get, and I'm still getting low connection warnings essentially. So what's happening is my internet service provider, they gave me this, and it's a faulty unit, so they're overnighting me a new one that hopefully will do better, because like right now in Pacific City I had 2 bars of 4G LTE and I couldn't even run a 360p 700. And it's like, no, can't do that. You got a poor connection. So things are a bit rough on the technology. I'll just have to hang out until then, unfortunately. Hey Watkins, we're currently having some issues. Kind of rough today network-wise. And yeah, and yeah, Jackie and George. Yeah. Totally lagged. Well, yeah. I don't know. Are you able to? Does can I get this to focus? No, I don't think it's gonna show. But there's 4 bars of 4G LTE. 5 bars of 4G LTE. That's literally. Essentially, this is receiving a strong signal and not able to send it out. So the stream is kind of dead in the water as far as like actually having reliable content. Sorry, I'm just updating my secondary phone. Do right now, because I can't give you a reliable stream at all when this thing can receive a really fast strong signal but can't send that out. Also, my phone's gonna die on me, so I gotta turn this back on. Used to USB it to my gadgets. I don't know if you, because these ones are designed to just create a Wi-Fi network. I don't know if I can, I don't think you can connect to an internet connection via this USB cable. The one here is just used on charging, I believe. I'm just gonna sit down and we can talk for a bit because the ground's dry and I'm kind of dead in the water for a reliable stream. Also, Jackie and George, if you're still there, I left my nice little wide-angle lens at the pub, so that's gone too. At least I think I did, because I thought I put it in this pocket, but it's not there, and I definitely didn't put it in my streaming bag. So, goodbye wide-angle lens. I'll have to find another one because that's actually a very important part of my stream. But yeah, I'm in like Taft right now. I think that's what my map said. And like, I just don't know how much hitchhiking I want to do if I can't show you guys what's up. Because the whole purpose of this trip is to show you guys what hitchhiking is like. And if I can't show you what hitchhiking is like, I don't want to. Well, like I enjoy hitchhiking, but I'm sad that it's just not reliable. Taped to my camera. See, the thing is, like I hold it close, and even when I was holding it like right below it, right here, I was still getting low connection errors, and that's with 5 bars of 4G LTE. And that's the most current internet technology. So I don't. Like, yes, if I had it very far away or behind like some kind of solid objects or like metal or something like that, then yeah, I could see that interfering. But I think the problem is this thing is just not actually collecting that fast signal and then relaying that onto whatever device. So the internet provider I'm working with is overnighting me a new unit. They said this is a faulty unit based off of a few errors that I gave. Also, it won't even power off. If I try to turn it off, it's a shutting down, turns off for 2 seconds and then reboots. There's a few things, and also charging doesn't work that well. It's really finicky on receiving a charge, and then once I disconnect it from being charged, it